Hello again, my little conscripts, and welcome to another Mordian Glory video. In today's episode, we are going to be going over the results from the Mordian Glory painting competition. Who won, who lost, the heady height, and the terrible lows. There were grudge matches, there were rivalries, there were unholy alliances, and of course, there were a lot of fantastically painted models. And so without further ado, let's dive right into today's video.
Attention guardsmen, the Commissariat has detected you have not yet liked this video. Do so immediately or else you will face the Emperor's wrath. And anyone who has not yet subscribed to the channel will be transferred to the penal battalions. That is all. Move out!
First things first, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who got involved in this painting event. Everyone involved embraced the vibe of the event wholeheartedly, and they were all officers and gentlemen and scholars. And truthfully, we couldn't have done the event without so many people getting involved. So every single one of you, just give yourselves a big pat on the back because you made this the best MG painting event yet. And if you did enjoy the event or you are looking to get involved in a future MG painting competition, then make sure to stick around to the end of the video where I will be detailing our next upcoming painting event, Kriegsmas. But with all of that said, now let's get into the video proper. So before we dive into the event, let me just refresh your memory on how this whole thing worked. It all took place inside the Mordian Glory Discord. There were a number of pre-named teams such as the Mordian team, the Krieg team, and the Cadian team where members could assign themselves. So it didn't matter if you had Cadian models, you didn't have to join the Cadian team. You could join whatever team you wanted. They were just there to give the event a bit of structure. And once you had picked your team, all you had to do is take a picture of your models when they were unpainted and then paint them, and then take a picture of your models when they were painted. And upon this completed picture being posted in the Discord, your team would be awarded a number of points. How many points? Well, that was tied to your unit's in-game points cost. So if you painted a Leman Russ battle tank, that would earn your team 170 points. If you painted a couple of infantry squads, that would earn your team 120 points. And the team which earned the most points would be crowned the winner of the event. And honestly, that's about it. There is a whole bunch of other rules and mechanics to spice the event up, but that covers the fundamentals of it. The only other thing that is worth mentioning is what happens if you failed to complete your models. Well, if you did not complete a certain batch of models, what we called a vow, then you would not only lose the points for that vow, but also all of the other progress that you've been made would be wiped out. So for example, let's say in your first vow, you painted up 2 Leman Russes worth about 340 points, but then in your second pledge, and you said, I'm going to paint this unpainted Baneblade. If you then failed to complete that, then not only would you not get the points for the Baneblade, but you would also lose your team the points for your previous vow, even if you had completed it. This is the penalty for being an oath breaker. And as you will see, there are teams in this event which, in theory, should have done much better than they did. But because some of their members did not quite follow through, they ended up finishing a lot lower in the leaderboard. And let's head over to that leaderboard and the final results right now. Starting from the bottom and working our way up. Coming in last place, we have the Vostroyan Firstborn. Not since the Vostroyans' original sin joined the Horus Heresy has there been such shame thrown onto the regiment. I'm sorry, Vostroyan boys, but this was a pretty tough event for you guys. Not only did the Vostroyan team come in last, only painting, I say only, it's still quite impressive, only painting 3,334 points worth of models, but they also had the lowest completion rate. In total, their vowels were actually 7,609 points. This means that they only had a 43.82% completion rate, which I think might be the lowest out of all of the painting events that we have run. Vostroyan gang, what happened? You guys are going to have to do some serious work during Kriegsmas to regain your honor. Coming in 11th place, second to last, we have got the Scholar Progenium lads, the Stormtrooper team. Now, these guys painted 3,575 points. That is what they completed, which is a small amount, but still pretty respectable for a niche team like the Stormtroopers. But I am going to bestow upon them an additional medal, an additional award. I'm going to give them the Honorifica Imperialis, because they were the only team in this painting event that had a 100% completion rate. A special shout out to the members of that team: Hackalite, Gar Brandon, Waiting for Something to Happen, Azaleus Experiment, and General Gears. You guys have done yourselves and the Emperor proud. But now we start to get into some serious points, and you'll see the amount of models getting painted now really jumping up. In 10th place, we have got the Steel Legion, the OG Gas Mask boys. In total, the Steel Legion vowed 13,228 points, but they struggled to follow through, with only 8,647 points completed, giving them a completion rate of 65.37%. In fact, if the Steel Legion team had a bit of a higher completion rate, they could have jumped 2 places on the leaderboard. This goes to show how important it is not only to make your vows, but also to follow them up and complete those models. But I'm not going to be too harsh on the Steel Legion guys. They still did manage to paint up a very respectable amount of models. In 9th place, we have my old team, the Renegades and Heretics. The Renegade team acquitted themselves most admirably this time, and they actually pushed themselves a lot harder. It is kind of funny that, and very much on brand with the Heretic team, that they make big vows and then often just completely fail to follow them through. Such is the fickle nature of chaos, I suppose. But this time, they were definitely embracing that blood-packed vibe, that disciplined traitor legion vibe, and they not only vowed 14,269 points, but they also completed 11,431, giving them a great completion rate of 80%. It is also worth noting that the Heretic team and the Genestealer Cult team formed an unholy alliance during this particular painting event. The first time we've had something like this occur. Rather than doing an individual grudge match, they combined their forces and attempted to grudge the Krieg team. Now, just to dive into the grudge matches a little bit, how they work is one team can challenge another team to a fight to the death, and whichever team wins the grudge match, gets the most points, gets a special badge next to them, a special badge on the Discord, and whichever team loses, they also get a badge, but it's one that is particularly unflattering. So last time the Heretic team failed their grudge match, and they always grudge someone, I turned them all into Chaos Spawn, and they all had the Chaos Spawn roll next to their name until they wiped the stain from the honor and they regained the favor of the Dark Gods in the next painting event. Now this time the Heretics were going against the Kriegers, but that was a big grudge, and we normally say teams of the same size should grudge each other. And you never have bigger teams grudging down on smaller teams, because some teams are just more popular. But this time we made a special cool little thing. We were like, well, why don't we have 2 smaller teams team up to try and beat one of the bigger teams? And so the Heretics and the GSC tested this mechanic out for us, and it actually worked really well. And as you can see with the Heretic team, they actually had a very good completion rate. They got a lot done, and well, we won't say who won yet. we'll wait until we get to the GSC points and the Krieg points before we announce who won that particular grudge match. Moving on from the traitorous scum, we have got the Desert Tigers, the Tallarn. Very, very good showing from the Tallarn this time. Normally one of the smaller teams, but they went above and beyond. Not only did they have 12,927 points vowed, but they also completed 11,979 points. This gave them the third highest completion rate out of all of the teams. And I want to do a special shout out to Tallarn team member Paws, because he also painted a Warhound Titan. In 7th place, striking from the skies, we have got the Elysian Drop Troop team. 22,047 points were vowed and 17,162 points were completed for a respectable 77.8% completion rate. I really want to praise the Elysian team because for them, this was a staggering amount of points vowed and completed. Normally, they are one of these smaller teams in the event, but they went above and beyond the call of duty this time. And a big reason for this was the grudge match. They were involved in a grudge versus my own team, the Mordians. And a special shout out to my nemesis, Turtle10 Alpha, who single-handedly painted over 11,000 points for the Elysian team and was the driving force behind their grudge vow. A battle well fought, sir, well fought indeed. In 6th place, and making it just into the top half of the leaderboard, we have the Cadian team. Now I know that the Cadian team is going to be a little disappointed with this result. Normally they are one of the big three, one of the teams that gets onto the podium every single painting event. And I think it was just a little bit of attrition that might have let the Cadian team down. You see, in the painting event before this one, they had been in a grudge match with the Kriegers, and maybe the piles of shame, maybe the reserves were not quite replenished yet, but for one reason or another, the Cadian team painted only, and it's still a lot of points, 25,388 points. That's what they vowed, and what they completed was 18,810 points. Now that is a little bit of a lower completion rate for the Cadians, but it was still a hell of a lot of points vowed and completed. Overall, I expect to see the Cadians bounce back strong, and I think that next time they are going to be coming back with a vengeance. But breezing past the Cadians and leaving them in the cold, we have a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one, the Valhallan team coming in 5th place. Considering that the Valhallans have not had any official models since their metal ones got discontinued and are often seen as one of these smaller niche teams, they absolutely smashed it this event. I am incredibly proud of them. They vowed 26,519 points and they completed 22,701, giving them a brilliant completion rate of 85.6%. And what is incredible is that the Valhallans got this result with only 11 people on their team, and only 8 people who actually completed all of their vows. They did have a few oath breakers. This team was small yet mighty, and what is very, very noteworthy, very remarkable, deserves a shout out, is the fact that a lot of the Valhallan team not only completed their vows, but they also completed the maximum amount of vows that was allowed, which is 5. So shout out to Narrow for getting all 5 vows done. Also, big shout out to Masculine Skeleton, who did 5 vows, and a shout out to Chicken Detonator, who painted an absolute shed load of bot action and got all 5 vows done. But every single person on that team, even if I've not shouted you out, deserves a big pat on the back, because your dedication to your team was just awesome. And I think it goes to show it's not about the size of the team. It's about getting those vows in, getting those vows completed. Quality has a quality of its own in the TTC. Arising from the sewers, proclaiming the day of ascension is nigh, we have got the Genestealer cult team coming in 4th place, almost squeaking onto the podium. The GSC team, also one of the old teams that I have participated in previous events, had a total points vowed of 29,431. And they completed 26,446 for a 89% completion rate. I am genuinely blown away by how much this team has grown. In the first painting event that I ran, I think there were 2 people on this team. And when I joined it for one event a year or so ago, I think we got 5 or 6 people on the team. But it has completely exploded since then. In total, there were 16 people on the GSC team. That is more than the Valhallan team, for example. And they only had 2 people fail their vows. Everyone else was committed to the cause, committed to the day of ascension. So a big shout out and a big well done to the GSC team, not only for your performance in this event, but also for how far your community has come along in the MG Discord. And don't forget, the GSC and the Heretics were in that unholy alliance for the grudge match versus the Krieg. And in total, they painted 37,877 points. Was that enough to win the grudge match? You'll have to wait a little bit longer to find out as we get into the big 3. Coming in 3rd place and getting the bronze medal for the TTC 3, we have got the Cadians. The Cadians vowed 41,163 points and they completed 34,930 points. That gave them an 84.86% completion rate. Now, I know that many of you are going to think that's really, really good and really impressive, and that's what I believe as well. But I also know that the Cadian team is going to be really disappointed with that result. And the reason is, up until this event, they prided themselves on having a 100% completion rate every single painting competition in the MG Discord. It's an amazing result, lads. Don't beat yourselves up too much. You still did awesomely, and maybe next time you'll be able to regain that 100% completion rate, but you can still have your heads held high. Cadians hold themselves to a high standard, so like I said, I know they're going to be a bit disappointed with that, but lads, you did a good job. It's important to note that the Cadian team was also in a grudge match with the Mordian team. In fact, the Mordians had 2 separate grudges going on this time. The Elysians came as and the Cadians came as. And as some of you may have worked out by now, the Mordian team hasn't been mentioned. And so this means that the Cadians were beaten in their grudge match, and so were the Elysians. Those fools tried to take on the might of the Iron Guard, and they were laid low for their arrogance, for their hubris. These rustics are so inept. It nearly takes the honour out of victory. Nearly. And what's more, to really rub salt in the wound for the Cadian team. And I know it's like I'm being really harsh on them, but I don't mean to be. But if the Cadians had completed all of their vows, if they had maintained their 100% completion rate, then not only would they have beaten the Mordian team, they would also have won the entire event. So Cadian boys, you did a good job. Hold your heads up high. But next time it's got to be 100%, boys. And to really twist the knife, to really rub the salt in the wound of the Cadian team, and I don't want to do this, I feel really bad because I know they're going to be beating themselves up about this, but if the Cadian team had maintained their 100% completion rate, then not only would they have beaten the Mordian team, as you guys will see in a moment, but they also would have won the entire event. So Catachan bros, don't think that I am punishing you. Don't think that I am shitting on you or that I'm throwing shade or anything like that. Take this and use it as motivation, as inspiration. Next time, get that 100% completion rate. Next time, get the gold. But now, there are just 2 teams remaining. Coming in second place with the silver medal is the Death Corps of Krieg. 47,434 points vowed and 37,919 points completed. Ironically, that did give the Kriegers one of the lower completion rates, but they managed to win through pure numbers and pure attrition, which is very Kriegy. And side note, but the Krieg team often has like even more points than that vowed, but an even lower completion rate. Like we've seen the team with like 60% completion rate or something mad in the past. So whilst they still stuck to their Krieg roots and they still won through sheer numbers, they have actually really improved as a team, and they have got to the point where now they're making lots of smaller manageable vows rather than a few big ones that they end up failing. So good team development, good growth from the Krieg team, and well done for not only having the quantity but having the quality this time. But there can only be one team to rule them all and in the darkness bind them. And this time, it was my team, the Mordians. Fix! It wasn't fixed, I promise. Mordian team with 41,468 points vowed and 38,538 points completed, giving us a 92.93% completion rate, which is the second highest completion rate after the Stormtroopers, who had their 100%. And in true Mordian glory fashion, not only did we win the event, but we also did it by painting the most infantry models out of any team, with 1,244 infantry models being completed. And as is only appropriate for the winners, I want to take a moment now to say a huge thank you to all of my teammates and to go through and shout out all of those guys that were on the team that did complete their vows. So a big thank you and a big well done to Daniel Simpson, Nostalgia Vivek, Mark Talabetland, Lord Holt, Sam Johnson, Brown Bread, Hypnotic Sage, Al Coffin, AJ Pinky, Still Unsure, Captain Kraken, Supercuban 3000, Bremer 1701, and Commander Conrad. Gentlemen, it was a distinct honor and a pleasure to serve alongside you in this painting event, and I have to say, guys, it just felt right. I've not been on the Mordian team for a long time, and coming back on with this painting event felt like coming home, and I very well may be part of the Mordian team going forward. Normally, I like to bounce around the teams and sometimes join some of the smaller ones, try and give them a bit of a boost, but it just felt right being back on Mordian and back with my boys. And for those of you who are curious, I can take you through some additional statistics about the event in terms of how much was painted and what was painted. So in total, as a community, across all the teams, we painted 6,247 infantry models. There were also 734 tanks painted, 38 super heavies, and 4 titans. And in total, we painted 235,472 points worth of models, which is awesome. That is incredible. That shows the power of community and of the Guard. And if you've really enjoyed today's video and you like the idea of this whole thing and you want to get involved, then it's very simple to do so. All you need is access to the Mordian Glory Discord, which you can get by being a channel member, a Patreon, or a Twitch sub. It is £2 a month to be a member, and that gets you all sorts of perks, including access to Discord. But if you're not sure you want to pay that, totally get it, everyone's financial situation is different, then toddle along to one of my live streams. I live stream every single week, Monday to Friday from 9 until late. That's 9 p.m. until late UK time. And if you get a gifted membership or gifted sub as being part of the stream, then that will also get you access to the Mordian Glory Discord. So you can get access that way as well. This event has just wrapped up, but we will be running another one starting on the 1st of December, which by the time this video is scheduled to go out should be less than a month away. And with the Guard Codex coming in January and lots of exciting Guard news that's going to be taking place around that time, I think it's going to be the biggest and best painting event that we will have done so far. And don't worry, you can't miss the start of the event because I will be doing a video announcing it when we get close to the date. And also there'll be an announcement in the Discord, and also the event runs for at least 3 months. So you don't have to join from the very beginning. You can come in partway through and still do your part for your chosen team. But that just about covers everything. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget, as always, to smash that like button and also subscribe to never miss an episode. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian Glory Hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing, truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full-time without the incredible and generous support of my members, so thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bonbon Vert, Lord Pryor, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Walsh, Diesel Fox, and August Barney. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.